Hey everybody, hope you're all doing well. I thought about making a hood for my truck. What do you think, guys? This is off my Mustang over there. But I don't know, guys, it might be a little bit too much to fill in. Think I can make this thing work? It'll take a lot of work, wouldn't it, guys? Adding a lot of fiberglass to that thing. I'm only kidding you guys. I put that up here to get out of the way so we could jump on this here. But anyway, this is going to need some work, getting it back up after it sits all winter. And yeah, the leaves, even though it's covered up with plastic, I had the whole engine covered with a tarp, plastic, but they always find their way back in, and this is how you get rust. But it's a nice day today. Cold out, but it's a nice day. No rain, just a little bit on the cold side. But look at this, guys. I just noticed. Yeah. Hey, feed the squirrels or chipmunks. That's a beautiful thing. I like that. That's really good, because if they jump up here, then that helps me a lot. Beans, the carburetor was fine when I parked it. So now I'll have to take this carburetor apart and clean it all out, which anyway you should do after it's been sitting, because the fuels today, that carburetor will probably be all gummed up anyway. And keep that in mind, fellas, when something sits. It's easy to get mad at the vehicle. Oh, why won't this start? Why? I parked it and it's fine. The fuel goes bad after a few months. And it surely isn't good in the carburetor. It will gum everything up. Unless you put a fuel additive in to help it. But it's always good to pull the carburetor back off and go through it. So that's another thing I'll have to put on the old checklist, because I'll probably forget. But I got thinking about these Mustangs. One of the most popular combinations is on a 302. I actually wrote some stuff down here, guys. Hang on, because the wind's blowing my little notepad. But the first thing guys would do back in my day, and there's nothing wrong with it, is it would be a shorty header, which these are long tubes, but a shorty header. And that'd be one of the first things you would do to one of these Fox body cars. And then for a real good upgrade, the second thing would be a pair of GT40 heads. So intake choices were GT40 intake, which I forgot to write down. And then, of course, would be the most popular camshaft in the world. Guess what it would be, guys? Come on, tell me. You know what it would be, guys. The most popular cam in a 302. Alright. The B cam. Okay? And then, getting back to the rear end, where the flat tires are, to the rear would be a pair of the most popular 373 gears. And most of the time, at my experience, it would be a pair of drag radials, because they came out with the BF Goodriches. and that was a real popular tire. Or McQuarrie's, that's what a lot of people ran back then. But that was something that varied. That wasn't the most popular. I'm trying to stay with the most popular stuff. Because you could say, well, my friend ran this. My friend, yeah, I know. My friends did too. This is just the most common list I'm doing, fellas. But my question is this. They weren't bad combinations, and we were very limited on what we had. So the chances of somebody having the same combination for upgrades, well, that would be the reason. And plus, I kind of left this out on another segment. I don't like any of the alphabet cams, but the thing with the alphabet cam, if you're just trying to upgrade, which if you want to consider it an upgrade, because any of them cams in the real world, you can go just as fast with the stock one, it's because they were cheap. They started out back then like $129, if I remember right. And they were affordable. So why not? And some guys actually just liked hearing the car had a cam in it. And then, of course, another reason being the computer came into play, and you were limited on what you could do with duration and lift with the computer. So we didn't have a lot of choices back then. But here's one thing we did have a lot of choices with, and I don't understand why the 355 gear, the 373 gear, okay, it's a nice upgrade, but why stay like that? You had an overdrive transmission, and that's one thing I never understood, is why somebody wouldn't go more aggressive on the gear. And you would think, well, because the engine's only going to turn around 55 to 5800, so why put more gear in it? Well, another thing, a lot of these cars with the AODs, most guys didn't put much converter in them, because if you did, them transmissions didn't last as it was. They had a lot of problems with the AODs, and you had to spend a lot of money on them if you started doing too much to the engine. You would have a little problem. And most guys with the converter even stayed like around 22 to 2800 with the stall speeds in them. I'm not talking about guys that did the extreme and tried to have the advantage. I'm talking about the average guy, the average combination that you would see. I'll bet if you ask your friends or somebody listening to me is going to say that's exactly the combination I had. I guarantee it. If I was to do a poll, I'll bet it would be 90% of the guys that will be listening to this will know somebody or have that combination. They'll say, he's right. And it's not about me being right. It's just about, well, I've always seen. And we have mostly the same ideas when it comes to these cars. Car's getting rough, fellas, from sitting. Look at this. I primered all this last year 2 or 3 times to keep it from happening, but look at the rust coming back through it, guys. See what happens when they sit, fellas? Not good. Ever good. I can see the stink bugs. They found a nice home. I don't know if you guys can see my back window. Yeah, they liked it back there so much that they died there, evidently. But I guess I'd do this little segment, guys, just it's something how people think alike in certain ways, and then other guys will go to the extreme and put more gear in the car and stuff. Because this car here has 430s in it. The motor was stock originally, and you know, I just have a different way of looking at stuff, and I saw where the gear never hurt it. I did notice where it didn't pick up much from less gear, but that all depends on if you're an automatic car or a stick car too. So all comes into play. You might say, well, my friend put more gear in, it didn't help it. the more the car needs help off the starting line, the more the gear is going to help most of the time. And it all depends where your cam's degreed in at, if it's advanced or retarded, and there's a lot of variables come into play. So don't just get caught up with me saying putting the gear in helps, because you still have to have other things modified to do that. But these are just things I'm running by you guys. I always leave stuff out and don't finish up sometimes saying what I originally was going to say with my point, because I lose track. A lot of people wonder what the sticker said. That's what it says down bottom. It seems others have a problem with losing. Back in my day, some of the guys, we'd be happy-go-lucky about racing somebody that had a stroke rings in or something, and they would be mad. I'm like, why is the guy so upset? But, yeah, my girlfriend actually got that sticker for me. She said, I noticed them guys get really mad. Some of them did. Some were good sports. A lot of guys are good sports, but you're always going to have one guy that's a little offended or upset. But anyway, fellas, I got to get back on this, and definitely didn't know that a squirrel had got up on here. That's the kind of stuff that I get upset about. So, I hope Bear Rose, I hope I don't have any stinky smells coming out of this thing. He just had a stinky smell coming out of his engine when he was turning it over. So I hope I don't have a stinky smell or something down in there. So, I definitely got to get this up and running again. Weather's coming around, so all but me being lazy, there'll be no excuses, fellas, you know. So I have to get on it, and have to get on this truck. A lot to do, guys, a lot to do. But anyway, guys, I just thought I'd run this by you. There's the old Blazer. And there's my son's car. Hey guys, I forgot to tell you, did you notice the trailer? It's empty. No Thunderbird, fellas. The old Thunderbird. I don't know if you guys remember or not. Had the Thunderbird for sale on it. It's gone. But always keep in mind, fellas, on a different note here, a little bit off the segment, when something sits around like this, you might want to go out and check up on it. If you have it covered up with a tarp, even if it's midwinter, just make sure nothing's getting down in your carburetor. I did have all this covered. I had a breather on it. I had a thing over top of the breather, another plastic thing just for the carburetor. And then I had a big cover over top of that. And that's still what happened. So don't think because you have it covered up that these little critters don't get up in there and do this kind of stuff. So if anything, guys, always make sure you have something tight over your carburetor. I just want to tell you from experience. And sometimes I'll tell you fellas something and I need to listen to my own advice half the time, but in this case I did have all this covered. So I just want to tell you that. But covered or not, getting back to this again, guys, this is going to be going through. I know that's varnished up inside. I have a pretty good idea that's what I'm going to find. So we'll see. And I'll do a segment on it, and I'll show you guys when I take it apart how bad it was or if I got lucky. So we'll see how that goes when the time comes. But anyway, guys, thank you for checking me out and seeing what I'm up to. And like I said before, I always hope I say something that might help somebody to prevent them from making a mistake or not thinking about something, because I didn't think about this too much until I took the thing off and saw where they were up underneath there. The cover. Guys, sometimes I just louse up all the time with my speech here. I hope it shows up. I wanted to show you how much stuff is on that intake. I don't know if I'm getting there or not on here. But have a good day, fellas. And getting back to what I was saying before, I appreciate you checking me out. Always. And thank you for everyone that's subscribed to my channel. I appreciate it so much. Take care, everybody. Have a good day.